Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 5th of June 2024. It's currently 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. Okay, here's a chart of the Dow Jones. Obviously, we've had this little pullback and we've been going sideways for 4 days now. Just look at a little ETF of the NASDAQ that hasn't really gone anywhere since the last talk a week ago, just kind of, just chilling out. And the All Ordinaries, likewise, hasn't really done anything in the last week. Now, I've got a bunch of stocks to talk about, probably a little too many today, but there's some bases brewing out there. But first of all, just some stocks I've been talking about recently, some open trades and all that sort of stuff. Lily, just going to get rid of all these 1 second. Sorry about that. So LLY is just cruising up. All right. It's obviously it's stronger than the market. It's been grinding up with the market kind of sideways, and I'm still in it. So I'm just being patient. Like the reason I had this timescale thing up, if you look at this last move from this kind of flag or channel or whatever here, and this up move, I sometimes just play around with this to just remind myself to be patient. So this was like 37 bars, I think it was, or 36 bars of sideways of uptrending, of an uptrend. Okay, if we go back where we are now, I just obviously we're nowhere near that, right? But we're up to day 9 or something, and so it just reminds me, hey, chill out, be patient. Big moves take time. Not all stocks kind of do a big double on us in a day or anything like that. It's pretty rare, and it just takes patience, and it just helps to remind myself to just chill out and stick with it, and let it do its thing. Obviously the big stock in NVDA, which is really controlling the market, I'm still in it, the rest of it, and I know Mark Minervini sold out last week, I think it was, and took his cash off the table. I know there's a bunch of others that have. It is tempting, but I just think that it's going straight up. There's no real sign of that classical top yet, and I will bail at the first sign of that. But and I don't know. I just think it's going up. Would Davis have sold NVIDIA yet? No. And so it's going to see what happens on that. Coin talked about last week. Hey, it's hasn't exploded, but hasn't broken back down into its base either, has it? And I'm going to show you some other crypto related things tonight, which are shaping up okay, all right? And so Coin is one of the more kind of promising setups out there, and I think it's got good risk reward on it, because I was filled right here on the millisecond it broke out of this channel, and so of this base, and we'll see what happens. I just think this is just the way to trade, like if you get in these things right the second they're breaking out, and you got your stop down here or whatever, you're risking this much for the chance to make blowouts. The risk reward is just so good, but it all comes down to not being an impatient person, because if you think you're smart and you bail here on the 28th and think, shit, I just took a quick little profit, and then your risk reward is like 1-to-1, and it's you're going to end up being a frustrated loser. You've got to be able to sit with these things and just be patient as all hell, because money's made sitting, sitting on your ass. So, quickly, I just want to rattle through 2 other stocks, and I'm in long terms. This is in the self-managed super fund now, right? Zero had this big gap up on massive earnings and then gap down today. I don't know what today was about, but this is called an island reversal here, where it gaps up, forms an island, and gaps down. This is a traditionally bearish pattern, and so who knows if technical analysis plays out here, this should keep going down for a little bit. I don't give a shit. It's in the self-managed super fund. I'm just I've got 15-20 years on that sucker. I really couldn't give 2 rats if it went down. Probably just get more of it. And the S&P. So this is one of my this is my most recent self-managed super fund buy, and it hasn't really started very well. Still in it, and we'll see what happens. But not everything I touch goes up, right? And I do get stuck in some things sometimes. But when they're in a self-managed super fund, I'm committed to that. It's okay, and I literally do add to it, and I break all the trading rules in the book. All right, that's just how I do it. Now, quickly, some setups come in. Let's do it. I'm just going to rattle through this watch list because it just might save a bit of time. Actually, I'll do a few quick scans to show people. Most of my stuff is found just Darvis scans anyway. ARD. I do a bunch of other scans, obviously, but Darvis is like really my go-to, but I'll do a few others tonight and I'll show you. But ARD is just sitting here in this box, Argent Minerals, okay, so obviously it's a penny dreadful, okay, but, you know, obviously it's got a lot of blue sky up here above it, and it's got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of that resistance, and, you know, if that can just, you know, sit in there and chill out and, you know, sideways a bit longer and then break out in big volume, it could be pretty good. So I'm watching ARD. I'm watching Meta. I know it's a large cap, but so is NVDA, and I'm up well over 100% on that. And Meta is just sitting here. You know, it's had a lot of boxes. It's within this box, but if you zoom in here, it's got this really tight range forming. Okay, and I'd be getting in here with, you know, a stop here, and the risk reward's pretty good on that. I like betting on the big leaders of the market, the NVIDIAs, the Metas, the Microsofts, the Googles, as I've talked about, you know, countless times, because they are the ones that lead the market higher when they go, and I just take the signals as they come along, and the risk, you know, the win loss, you know, it's you know, you do lose sometimes on them, but shit, you know, in a good market you tend to, you know, have a lot more winners and losers when you're sticking to the leaders of the market. Okay, what else was there in that Darvis scan? NAB, I talked about NAB last week. Okay, and so this chart is pretty reminiscent of the Lily chart, okay, just uptrend and then this big sideways base. Let's just clean this up a little bit, guys. And now we're forming here. You know, the big banks are strong, like it or not. You know, CBA closed at 123, I think, today. Yep, and NAB is just basing here, and it's got blue sky above it. Big base, weekly, daily, however you look at it, it's got blue sky above 35.12, okay. And what else was there in this Darvis scan? PXA, yeah. So, you know, PEXA is, you know, a real estate thing. If you've ever bought a house, you probably know what PEXA is. And this came up in Darvis scan, but it came up in another scan I'll show you in a sec. 14.99, obviously $15 resistance, and to me it's like this is pretty tight and nice. It's had a run up from this bottom here, and it just now, my rule is that once it touches this, tests the resistance line up here, I need 3 days on ideally tiny volume to give me VCP. Okay, so this is day 1. I need another 2 days of just doing absolutely jack shit right under this resistance line on tiny volume, and then to me it's a very, very high probability setup. Okay, another quick scan. All right, just I've got all this stuff ticked here. 30 break up within, whoops, I meant to say 2%, not 1%, 0%. I'm just going to scan my results because it's quicker. Okay, this stock here, I think I did talk about it the other week, BLKB. It came up in a, you know, inside bar scan, didn't it? It still hasn't broken out. It's kind of this big ranging ascending triangle now, isn't it? And so, you know, but that's a pretty tight setup there on the NASDAQ. BRE, you know, Brazilian rare earths, it's a pretty recent IPO. It kind of had this flag in channel here, and it's got resistance obviously at all-time highs, but it's really only 3 days of resistance. This has just got, you know, the hallmarks of who the hell knows what this can do. I just waiting for a decent signal. You know, I missed this one. Will I take a break of the all-time high? I mean, not if it breaks out tomorrow, because 3 days of resistance isn't enough resistance, if you ask me. This came up in a flag scan, a pennant scan, I meant to say, which is like, you know, but this is a pretty short-term pennant. I'm not going to take that, but I'm going to see if this can just base and give me another 3, 4, 5 days here underneath this all-time high. And if it doesn't, it's tight, I might be able to get in on a break with a stop down here and have a nice risk reward. I'll be risking this much here to make God knows how much if it can run away. Okay, doesn't mean it will run away, but you know, let's say it's a 40% of them run away or 20% of them run away. Who gives a shit? You know, as long as you let them run, making money in this business is all about how you manage these trades. There are plenty of people that traded NVIDIA and got in here and got out here because they thought it gone up too high. I remember there was one guy on Twitter who got in at 502 or whatever, and he got out at 584 because he thought it looked frothy. I mean, what a dumbass, right? It's more than doubled since then. Is it looking frothy now? I don't know. Shit, I don't know. Not really. It could go heaps higher. And so it's how you manage these things. And, it's just that the people who just don't overthink it, they just chill the hell out and let it go up, and just be really, really patient. And suddenly the profits, the unrealized profits in your account can really, really compound on you. And it's a beautiful thing, okay? IRA come up in flag scan, I meant to say, and this is pretty tight here. Big move, flag in. I don't think I can take that one. I've got too many things on the go and that I'm looking at, but I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously NAB's come up here again in the breakup scan because it's getting within 2% of this high, so sometimes the good stocks come up in numerous scans, right? And PXA came up in a tri-point resistance scan here because it's touched that level 3 times exactly. What else is there? PXA, yeah, okay. The other ones I wanted to quickly talk about, ADSE on the NASDAQ. So this is a stock that's into charging stations for EVs across Europe. It's not profitable yet, but it's growing and its revenue is growing, and you can read about it yourself. It's a liquid. Only did 11,500 shares last night, and the spreads on it, if you get into your open your broken account and look at it during the US sessions, it can have some decent wide spreads, which is reflected here in these wicks. Okay, when you see charts like this, you know that they're thin, and B, because they're thin, they probably have pretty wide spreads. This pattern here of all these wicks and blah blah blah, that's just a classical illiquid high spread stock. Okay, and so this is sort of stock that you can get kind of whipped in and out of, and I tend to have mental stops, not physical stops, with stocks like this, which adds a degree of risk and therefore reduces the size that I put into it, but but this is setting up here. It's got blue sky above it. It's a relatively new IPO, and they're the sort of patterns that my bread and butter, right? So let's just see what else there was I want to crap on about, and just to save time, I'm just going to go straight to them instead of doing my scans. MGT's on the ASX. Obviously it's a cheap little thing at 40 cents or 36 cents, 37 cents. It came up in a tri-point resistance scan of weekly data, I think, because it's just bang, bang, bang 3 times, and it has blue sky above it, and I'm watching that one. I don't really want it to start falling down here, but if it could just stay in this tight little range, I'll be all over it. Another one that came up is RDX. Okay, I did mean to I usually have my relative strength indicator on these. This stock hasn't been around for more than 12 months, so it won't have it. But RDX, so RDX is a chemical trading company, I think, chemical distributor or something like that. Yeah, chemical and distribution. Distribution companies have been freaking flying lately. Like if you look at JAT, which is a distributor on the ASX, it's wow, holy shit, I missed that. But this came up in a little scan here, and it's like, and I didn't think it had based for long enough, and then bang, okay. And it just goes to show, like, I do miss a lot of these big winners because I want them to base for long enough, whereas maybe some more aggressive traders just would have piled into that, because if you study the volume here on, say, the 30th of May, 31st of May, and the 3rd of June, there's like zero volume. It's just such a nice VCP. Big volume on the upswing, tiny VCP contraction pattern, and exploded. But anyway, I got sidetracked. I missed that, and the reason I brought that up is because there's a lot of these distribution type stocks that are flying. RDX is setting up here. It's a bit more of a wilder base, isn't it? But it's a recent IPO. Here's a 5-year chart. This is its all-time high. If this can tighten up here and just bounce around in that box a bit longer, then that will be a blue sky breakout as far as I'm concerned, and I'll be piling into that. That's nearly it. I got a few more. Just a few weeks ago, everyone was asking about wire. All these people on Twitter posting, shit, what are all the copper stocks in the world? I want to watch this. I'm going to pile into copper. Around that time it was topping out, and then most of those people are getting their pants pulled down this second. Okay, this is how commodities work. It's how stocks work in general, but commodities too, just exceptionally volatile, and they will do that. And I guess with what I'm looking at is it's an ETF. If you look at what they hold, it's 36% is Canadian, 11% Australian stocks, then the rest of the world. Okay, so it's not just Aussie. It's not as if it's just BHP heavy or anything. For those that own gear and BHP heavy ETFs already, it's not necessarily that correlated. To me, if we can have a sell-off in copper, just a short-term sell-off, obviously, and this can get back down in this buy range. Here, this is my kind of buy zone. That is just the old resistance turn support from this high, from this awesome breakout back here in on the 11th of March. If it can just collapse back down here with a bit of panic selling, I think I'm going to 100% get that in my self-managed super fund and lock it away for the long term. Okay, it's just my own plan. You got to make up your own freaking plans, but that is what I want to do if I can get some cheap enough. I don't want to stuff around buying it up here. It's just just a no-go for me. And IBIT. Okay, I talked about coin before. This is the Bitcoin ETF on the NASDAQ. Hasn't been around for more than 12 months, so it doesn't have a relative strength ranking. Okay, just quickly on relative strength, we go back to Meta. Okay, big stock with a 91 relative strength. Okay, it's just, that's what it's about. It's like, it's, for me, it's focusing on these leaders with awesome relative strength. Okay, if we go back to NVDA, it's been my best trade of this year, really. Probably only catch a couple of these a year, right, for those that listen every week and stuff, but obviously its relative strength is 98, and that's the goal, to be in these stocks. If you look at that Quinamali guy that, I forget where he's from, the Scandinavian dude who's made tens of millions of dollars trading stocks, he only concentrates on relative strength stocks that are 98 or better, I think. Usually the top 2% of leaders in the market. He doesn't even look at all the other shit, and so it's where it's at in terms of momentum trade. If you want to be a momentum swing trader, then you really need, it's all about relative strength. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Let's go back to IBIT. And we have crypto, coin, a lot of the crypto stuff setting up here. If you look back here at this setup here, right? Okay, and this is one, I did talk about it, but I talked about it late, and I missed the bloody thing, unfortunately. I did get it in, I hold Bitcoin obviously, but I didn't actually trade this sucker back here. But if you look at this, it IPO'd, okay, went down, gapped up, went down, as they all do usually, and then it gave this incredibly tight range. And this was, for those who follow Minavini and some of those, guys that on Twitter, they were buying this here, okay, which is totally what I should have been doing, but I stuffed up, okay. And so now this isn't as tight, okay, as that. This is like 5 days, and this is kind of maybe a bit longer than that. But the point I'm getting here is the risk reward on this is insane. Okay, you're getting in here, you've got to stop here. That's how much you're risking, and this is how much you got to gain. All this, okay, it's ridiculous. The risk reward. It's so simple when you break it down as risk reward. Where can I get a stop in that makes sense? And have I got a blue sky entry? Do I have a stock that can run up and give me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times my risk reward? Okay, because that's what trading's all about. Here we've got, okay, in my opinion, a similar setup. I would love that to tighten. This has got a little bit of air in here. It's not as tight as it could be, but if that can just tighten there for another little bit, risk reward's good. Bitcoin can fly higher than anyone thinks. If you think NVIDIA's gone higher, wait till Bitcoin has this next true bull run. It's going to make NVIDIA look like an infant. All right, I'm going to piss off. Oh, by the way, members area, I made some changes. I did say I was going to launch this week. It's my bad. I take responsibility. It's not coming this week. I've got to get it right. I've got to, so by the end of June is the goal, okay? I apologize for that. You're welcome to abuse me. It's all good. Cheers, everyone. Bye.